What is going on, everybody out there in podcast land? I am not used to that intro music at all. It snuck
It's
up on
very
me
abrupt. Hello, my
there. Hey,
darlings. It is. It's very abrupt. It's like, oh,
howdy.
shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello, we're
Oh, oh,
on.
oh, 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 oh. Music's off. All right. Oh, oh, click here, click here. All right, we're live. Let's do it.
Let's
Fuck it,
fucking
we're
do it.
live.
Yeah, we'll do it live.
Let's fucking do it. What up, everybody?
What up?
Happy Tuesday.
Yay, Tuesday. Hello, my darlings in the chat. How are you this evening?
I hope everyone is well. I hope your gardens are well.
See?
We shall discuss gardens this evening. That's one thing we do here. It's kind of the whole theme of the show tonight. Let's pretend like it's someone's first show. You know what I mean? Like it's their first time hearing us tonight. For all you people who've listened since the very beginning, I'm sorry. You're gonna hear things you probably heard 1,000 times. But we want to always be open and welcoming to beginners, guys. Key word, beginner. Okay? When's the best time to start growing weed? Trick
Now.
question. It was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah. that's kind of the theme here. You know, like we want, that's the point of the show, is to encourage growing, even if you're not supposed to, as they say. You know, you got to be a little covert sometimes. Do what you got to do.
Vast me hearties.
For sure. So, like, let's pretend it's someone's first episode listening to the show. Let's pretend it's like their first or second grow tonight, too.
Okay.
And they don't have any of these fancy auto pot gizmos or earth box whoozy what's its and fancy things all you seasoned growers out there seem to love and rely on so much. And like, here I am, a total noob, just like, oh, I got to hand water again.
Sips or die.
Right.
It's real easy to order auto pots.
We love our sips, man. And if you're gonna get sips, like, listen, we support Autopot. All three of us use them. We love them.
Code CC10. Save you some bucks.
I mean, really, I say I couldn't grow without them, but in reality, I could. Because
No, my plants would be dead without them. But that's just because my life is insane right now. Like, I do have the
Feel that.
capacity and the capability to grow a plant without the auto pots, but I choose not to.
Yeah.
Heard, 100%. But like, I went a couple rounds, maybe 4 or 5, without using them. 6, half a dozen, let's say. Having hand water only. It can be done, my friends.
In fact, it should be done. Before you graduate to a SIPS container, understand how a plant drinks, how to hand water in case something goes wrong. Like, just know the basics before you get into the fancier stuff.
Right? I absolutely
It's just
encourage
smart.
that. But yeah, before we break that ice, let's do the rounds here, guys. What are you smoking on?
Oh man, we jumped right over that, didn't we?
We sure did.
P3, you
How's
go
that?
first. All right.
No. You tell me.
Smoking on some lemon fucking cava.
Lemon cava.
I haven't
People
heard that.
want to hear that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? Like a secret stash or something? Or
Grow bags, man.
oh, nice.
Fucking love the grow bags. I haven't harvested lemon cava in probably 7 months. The shit feels like I just took it down yesterday. It's fucking perfect.
That's the one thing that grow bags are just spectacular at is long-term storage.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's the only thing that they should be used for.
Yeah, you can't really throw like those little bags in your bag and carry them. I mean, you can, but you're gonna squish your bud. Jars will never be replaced for that purpose, for me anyway. But for long-term storage, I'm sold on them. I don't have no fucking coupon code or nothing for you. They're expensive as shit, but I think they work really, really well.
Are they?
And,
Like, I thought they were just
The
like a couple
shipping.
bucks per bag.
The
no,
shipping
like
is
the
insane.
pound bags are like
Really?
$12 or something, $10. I don't even know. I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten a lot of them for free at like trade shows and shit like that. But I have purchased them with my own money, and
Mhm.
I would do it again. Eventually, they kind of lose their vigor. I don't know, like they stop working as
Efficacy?
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the word I was looking for.
Their
Efficacy.
vigor.
I don't know. They just don't seem to work as well after
I feel that.
a little
I
over a
definitely
year,
agree. Hmm.
maybe that. But no, I like them. They just work. I've said it before. I was fucking super skeptical of this voodoo plastic that could keep my flower fresh. Um, but it
Voodoo.
works. Just works. I can't. I
Yeah,
don't even know how it works. It just works.
it's cool,
It's one of
man.
those things I don't really need to look into. It's like, yeah, it works. Cool. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll dive down the rabbit hole on how the fuck they're able to achieve that, but it works.
You don't really care. Don't really care.
No.
It's got that terp lock.
Yeah,
Terp
man.
lock
Like
system.
I told you, I was sold after Matt gave me that fucking like 5, 6 gram bud in a pound bag, and I'd forgotten about it. Went through hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. I opened it
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
and it was fucking just like the day he gave it to me.
Nice.
Shout out to Mac Attack. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we love
Haven't heard
Mac.
from him in a bit, but
He's
welcome
off
back
doing his
anytime, bud.
thing. We miss ya.
It's tough being
You
a male
too.
prostitute, you know? Go
We
travel
do.
around and fucking,
Here,
living
side
on the
note.
road.
We got I am certified old guy. Shout out. He says this is my first grow.
Nice.
Well,
Nice, man.
more power to you.
Congrats.
And
That's what
absolutely,
such a wonderful feeling
that's
too.
what
Do you
it's all
remember
about.
that?
He says,
Your first
harvesting his
grow.
first auto in a few days. So,
Oh my gosh, that's the amazing part. When you're not waking up
isn't
in the
that
middle of the night
exciting?
panicked about nitrogen.
Yeah, or overwatering and all this stuff like that we will get into that new growers panic about. It's nice to be
Everything.
on this home stretch and have like the prospect of smoking your first plant.
Yeah,
It's gonna
man,
be a
you did it.
good
You're
feeling.
halfway there.
But yeah, shout out, old guy. Welcome. G3, what you got?
Mango Isle number 2. My second mango isle. Not there isn't like a mango isle number 2 strain. Mango isle. But my
Yes,
second
I
mango
see.
isle.
The second
Yes.
pheno of the
The
tent.
second. Yes.
Can you, so consistency wise between the two phenotypes, how similar are they? How different?
They smell more alike than their effects are alike. So I
Interesting.
definitely get the mango undertones in each of them. They smell kind of similar, but the effects are kind of different ends of the spectrum a little bit. Like number 2 is show worthy. Number 1 is not. Because she kind of just like conks me out and makes me kind of dumb. But this one's okay.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep.
It's it's funny how that works. I mean, effect
It's so
wise,
weird.
like it's they
It
just
is. It's
differ in
strange, right?
effects.
Because like
But you would
very
think
different
because they
effects.
smell the same that like they would have somewhat of the same terpene and cannabinoid mixture. But it affects you just
No.
differently. That's odd.
I don't. I have no idea why. And usually plants are pretty consistent for me, but just that number 1 for some reason, she just I don't know. She just makes me kind of stupid. I don't like feeling stupid. So she's like a very end of the day type of thing.
Cool. Oh well, yeah. That's kind of segs right into what I got today, which is my coveted Salmoso OG in the big nug jar. It is
Beautiful.
hard to describe just how big some of these nugs are. Yeah, and this is like a kind of perfect. If you could see the hygrometer in there, it's at 62%. These are big, dense, fluffy, not fluffy, but like they're big and dense nugs that smell like pine, little lemon, gas, some earthiness going on, like an umami. And man, is she strong as fuck. Like, I would love to get this tested because whatever is going on in this, it might not be just THC like we've been talking about. Like, everyone that has tried this one has been like, yo, holy shit, that's like a little too much for me.
Wow.
Granted, most of the people I share with are little bitches, but
That's what I was just gonna say.
you know, they're dropping out like flies, and I'm just like, ah, yeah, this is my shit right here. Let me light up another one, and they're just like, no, 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 I'm done, you know. But I take that as like a another pin in
It's a
the
big
cap.
compliment. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
if they're tapping out, you grew some good shit. You know, they're still pussies, but
It's
you know,
truth, truth. But that's
Yeah.
makes your grower ego feel good. You know.
Mhm.
certainly.
You mentioned testing. That's actually something I think that we are truly missing as growers. I think that's like a huge missing part of being a grower, having
What?
access to testing for
Oh
different
yeah, right.
levels of things to find out what's in your plants. What did I grow? What percentage is this? Oh my gosh, but then you'd have
Yeah, you're
people
so
like
right.
being obnoxious about their numbers, but it would
Well,
be
why wouldn't you
from
be?
a
Like
non-social media
we're
standpoint,
already
it would
obnoxious with
be
like how beautiful our plants are, right?
So I
yeah,
know Master Yoda has some sort of like home testing kit. Maybe you can, if he's still
Is it
listening, he can
the
chime
T
in.
the
check?
T check. Like I
I
don't
don't know.
trust
I haven't
this.
done enough research. I can just tell you this much: that kid does his research, so I'm guessing that it's probably a pretty good device. I
I'd love
can't.
to know what he's using.
I don't know. I can't speak on it. I haven't done any
Yeah.
research. I don't even know what the fuck it's called. But in Massachusetts, we're pretty lucky. There's a bunch of places around here you can get tested. I've had stuff
Hmm.
tested for joint. I honestly, I wish I could tell you how much it was. I want to say it was either like 50 or $60 or something. But I mean, this is about a year ago. Was the last time I had it done. So I mean,
Yeah.
everything's
What did
fucking
they
gone
give
up.
you? Just like major cannabinoids, or they give you a full terpene breakdown as well?
No, he got a terp breakdown. You can go on his website. Actually, I think he might have even posted what he got. I
That's
don't know.
neat.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, I
Yeah, but I
would
mean
be
G3. I
obsessed with
bet if
that.
you really look into it, I bet you it wouldn't be that tough to send a little sample
It
away to one of these
surprises me that,
labs and
that's not a thing that exists already
it does more in
at
legal
more
this
markets. I
point.
prevalent.
think
Yeah.
you'll see it in PA once, or if you guys
Maybe,
end up
maybe I'm
end up.
just missing it because I'm, lost in prohibition land. But
It's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
I think because no one wants to like mail anything around here. It's
mm,
just like yeah, it's kind of a, no, a non-starter. But yeah, if we had access to kind of like a tool that would let you do it at home and gave you somewhat of an accurate reading of at least ballpark of what's going on in your bud, that would be cool.
if any of you guys listening at home have done anything like this, sending out to be tested, terpene profile, stuff like that, or tested stuff at home, I would love to hear about it. So
Yeah.
please come tell
Uh,
me.
Yeah, let us
yep.
know. Come on, hop in the Discord. Let
Hmm.
us know. But man, yeah, like, that's kind of like the strength of this Salmoso is just like I might smoke another one, maybe two during the show. These are like margaritas. You know what I mean? You got like a two is good, three is really pushing it.
Does she sneak up on you?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is it's super strong. Like and in like a almost a sedative kind of way, which
Mm-hmm.
is good. It's just really good nighttime weed. Just relaxes. It's nice. So
It's a, it's a nice.
yeah, always good to have one or two of those in the arsenal.
Oh
That'll
fuck yeah!
put you
You need
out
something to knock
above
around your
Yeah.
everything.
house. I keep pure Michigan around just for that much. That stuff just fucks me up. Love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me
Even though
really
you,
stupid though. Like I straight up bump into shit and then everything. Like that's that's weed you smoke if you want to be useless.
Uh huh.
is it
It has
one?
to be for a very specific time of day. Like I cannot smoke something like that and then try it to adult. It's just,
Yeah,
it's impossible.
you're 100% right. I mean, when I loved it so much for the first couple months, and I I wasn't getting a whole lot done during that time frame. I can just tell you that much. I thought I was, but you're just spinning your wheels. You're so fucking baked, you know.
Uh,
That's funny.
And the best part though is when somebody cracks that jar and they're offended. Like, they just step back and they look like The hell is that? It's either a
What's
love. It's a
wrong with you?
it's a love hate thing. It's a love hate thing. People either love it or
Oh,
hate it. There's really not much
I
in
bet you
between.
I would love, love, love it.
Pretty sure I left you a
Meat
couple
turks,
nugs when
man.
I came by.
Yep, I
They
remember.
still they
I
still were a little
remember
fresh,
well.
fresh.
I remember. So yeah, shout out to Alabrije for the Salmoso,
Yep.
and
And congrats on doing a killer job growing it, man.
oh yeah, well,
Killing
thank
you.
you.
Like, that's no greater reward, right?
No, and I do think that's kind of all part of it. Like growing the plant well is like you get kind of the full expression of its terp profile, right? Like this probably just based on how it looked. I mean, it was super healthy its whole life. It was big. It faded perfectly, and like you could just tell like this one was gonna be killer smoke because it had everything it needed to produce everything it was capable of. So yeah, in order to I mean, some people will argue like, oh no, deficiencies and stress produce like more of this and more of that, and like, you know what? I push back against some of that.
I
Like,
never encourage people to fucking ride those lines. You gotta really be a fucking know what the fuck you're doing. And too many people fuck around and find out and fuck up the whole crop. So you're better off
right,
just giving them
yeah,
what they need.
Yeah.
grow
Baby the
a
shit out
really
of them.
healthy plant first,
Yeah.
and then start like if you want to like introduce some deliberate stress for certain reasons, like yeah, then we can talk. But I think it's people that just have yet to grow a healthy plant trying to justify it.
Yes, I see it a lot. And
It's
don't,
it's
people try too many things at once too, it sounds arrogant and it's not meant to come off that way, but this shit really isn't that fucking hard. And I think people tend to overcomplicate it by trying to do too much. My buddy said this, the guy at the hydro shop said that, and a lot of
oh,
times, like, people might think that this product is magic, right? Or that product is, but that could have been like your limiting factor, like that really gave them improvement. And the other thing, even if it didn't, people love to justify their purchase by telling you to go out and buy this because they fucking did. Uh, you
truth.
know, you really don't need a whole lot, man. Just try to keep things
You
simple. I
know,
think people overcomplicate things, and that's usually the downfall to new growers.
I'm glad you kind of brought back in those new growers because like I feel like that's one of the big like people get turned off kind of immediately because like no matter where you turn, you hear something different. You know what I mean? Like it's just everyone's got their different methods.
Hmm.
That becomes apparent right away. But like as a new grower, you're just like, oh my god. So what's the right method? You know what I mean? How do I find my own path? It's really it's challenging, man. Like what I always like to tell people we're starting out like right away. It's just like kind of find the community, find Instagram growers, find I mean maybe not Reddit growers, let's be real. Find some Instagram growers who grow some nice looking plants. Have a style that you want to emulate and literally just copy them to start with. Like get a stripped down version of like kind of their setup, like as much of it as you can. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Totally didn't do that at all. I
No?
researched the hell out of everything, and what felt right is what I tried first. What seemed like it would be easiest and most approachable and felt right. And then based on that, I found people that were doing similar things.
Okay.
But I
I
definitely like,
agree.
I think emulating somebody else too much really ignores your own growth style. If you find somebody who has gorgeous plants and you love what they do, but they're using, you know, salts or in cocoa and you don't necessarily jive towards salts, it's not really your style, or they're doing like hydro, which is probably too advanced for a beginner. It's
For
just
sure.
you got to find out what works for you. I tried cocoa in the beginning and it wasn't my jam. Moved to soil, much better fit. It's gonna, like, you'll know after the first grow if you love growing or not. you'll probably know after the third or fourth grow what your growing style is starting to look like. But it takes a
Are you?
while. You got to fuck around and find out.
Yeah. Don't make too many changes at once, though. Like after your first grow, and take notes too. Like I don't think I've talked about that much. I still take notes every fucking time I'm at the
Do
grow,
you?
100%. Because I want to be able to go back and look if something didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Especially with those fucking stupid fucking triangle Kush OG. Dude, that shit I've been battling for fucking the whole time. I was trying to keep it healthy. I thought I had a knack on it. And look, they're gonna finish and it's gonna be good bud, but I think I could have done so much better if I had, maybe done a few things a little differently. I don't, to be honest with you, I don't think they like the wet feet with the autopots at all.
Interesting.
I've had a couple of strains that don't really
Mm-hmm.
do well with that all you can eat buffet type of method.
Johnny says ditch the influencer.
Yeah, it's really easy to find growers that excel in specific styles. Like, if you think you want to try organics, come to our Discord and we can point you in the direction of some killer growers. If you want to try salts, awesome. If you want to try cocoa, cool. If you want to try hydro, GWC, cool. We could probably find
Yeah.
somebody who does
Well,
it
I
real well
think
for
you
you.
kind
We know
of
plenty of people,
you
so
hit on a big thing, like, which is just you got to figure out what method speaks to you first. That's a big decision. I mean, it's like when you are in the research stage, you come across all these different methods. You got to pick one.
hmm.
Which one do you pick? You know, I think soil is the most forgiving, the most easy for a beginner to start with for specifically hand watering methods that don't require like any more additional setup and investment than quite literally, you buy a light, you buy a tent, you buy an exhaust fan, you buy a circulation fan, you buy soil. Did we mention
Hmm.
that?
Yeah.
Grow
Pots,
bags.
newts.
Yeah,
Pot,
pots,
a tray.
risers, trays, like all the stuff. You invest and like right away, I think you want to pop a seed, get going, get your feet wet, jump right in. For me, that was just like buy a bag of soil at the store. I read that Happy Frog was a really good one to start with, and you know what?
It
It
is.
was pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I grew some really nice plants. I got some 5-gallon bags, fabric pots. You don't even need the fabric pots. Like, listen, you could drill holes in a bucket. You get it Home Depot.
Yep.
It could arguably, for an organic style, a better than like more of a evaporative type of fabric situation. Retains the water better. Yeah, listen, that method spoke to me. So I went with it. And I found it easy. But most importantly, it didn't need anything else. Like I could grow the full round of the plant right away. From popping the seed to drying it, trimming it, smoking it, everything. You know what I mean? It wasn't until like I was at that like fourth grow G3, like you said, or fifth grow that I started thinking about like, you know what? Like there's got to be more to life than this. Like, am I
I'm
just gonna
so sick of moving
am I
water.
just gonna be watering plants all day every day
Ah,
for the rest of my life?
it is. You get real sick of hauling water after like a year.
Yes,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No more. You still haul water. It's just like once a week instead of every single day.
for sure. Now, water in general, one of the big things, I mean, obviously, like you want to grow plants. Plants need water. You're going to
Water.
have to give these plants water, as they
I
say
think of
around us.
black water every time you say the word water. Not because you say it
Water.
like him, but just the way he says it makes me laugh. Shout out to Blackwater.
Plants need water.
Water.
And
Well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
they do. They do need water. But
Specific water.
specific, yeah, that's where I was getting at. G3 specific water, pH.
Depends on what you're growing in.
It does, but it doesn't. It does, but it
but
doesn't.
wow.
We are talking to the new grower. You must check your water. I don't care where you're getting it. Check your water. I want to know what your pH is. I want to know what your ppms are.
In order to check your water, we do recommend you using a high quality pH reader, because if you put your trust in one of those yellow stick ones from Amazon, it will bite you in the ass. So I've had really good luck with my AC Infinity one. That's the one I've been using recently. I've used a Para before.
Wait a minute. AC
What?
Infinity has a fucking pH probe?
They do.
Yes, and
They
it's
do,
actually
dude.
freaking awesome.
Yeah, it
Dude,
comes
the
in a
thing is
black
so
box.
solid.
It looks like the Para box, but it's black.
Isn't it all in one like an Apera?
It is.
Yeah,
like-
it reads a whole bunch of shit.
How much is that thing?
I don't know off the
think
top
it
of
was
my
like
head, but it's not
150
super
bones.
pricey. No way. Absolutely
wasn't
not.
it the same price as the?
I don't know.
don't
I've had
think
really
so.
good luck with the Aperas. I'd probably just stick
I
with
love
Could be wrong.
Apera. I've had 2 of them because I dropped my first one and shattered it. But really good luck. And Blue Labs is also high quality.
Well,
So,
use code
Get
Cultivation.
a meter you can trust. I'm going to find out
Yeah,
how much this
but
AC Infinity one is.
For sure, grab a meter you could trust, G3. But listen, I got through my first couple grows damn fine with like one of these Amazon. Like I got 3 of them up in the
You
in the
can.
cabinet. Those yellow
Yes.
ones that are.
You gotta
like
have a standard to
$8.
check it though.
You can, but you need
$8.
something to check it. Either the dot strips, dip
Drops.
strips,
Get the
or the
drops
drops,
and the strips,
or
yeah.
make sure you calibrate it often. When you get your pH meter, get calibration fluid as well if it doesn't already come with it, because you're going to want to calibrate at minimum
Yeah.
after every grow.
It's like I didn't even trust like the calibrated like. I always use those drops when I first started to double check the stick. Like it was just, man, I was always at that pool supply shop, just like thinking I
Man,
was
this
a lifeguard.
boy is really concerned about his pool water.
Exactly.
He must have a really nice pool.
Exactly. So yeah, that's a little, pro tip. Get those drops, but you don't need a great pH pen right away. That was like a thing that took me till my.
$50.
Yeah, you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. I would push back on that one because I've had those fucking yellow ones. I've owned a couple of them, and they'll work great for a little while, in a pinch.
For a little
but
while.
they'll give you a fucked up reading that will fuck you up eventually.
They only last so long.
You
They
can
really
buy
It's a
a
toxic
decent one for like
relationship.
30 or 40 bucks even. Like just go down to your hydro shop, honestly, and talk to them. Or be careful with Amazon reviews. You know what I'm liking about the new Amazon reviews? They have like a little AI section. When you click on that, it's a review by AI, and it will kind of just summarize like, oh, some people seem to like this, but others have said that the quality is poor. Or sometimes you'll see like, oh, reviews are great, and nothing but positive things are said about it. And then you just kind of have to decipher. A lot of those reviews are fucking fake. I don't know if people realize that, but a lot of fake Amazon reviews. You got to kind of, you got to do a little research. Look
sure.
for one with like thousands of reviews, type of thing. Go with something like that. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money. Even a
sift
Para
through
makes
them.
like a budget pH pen for like, I don't know. I think it was like $40 last time I looked at it.
They're not too bad, but it's good to have one that you can trust, and then calibrate it regularly so you can continue to trust it.
Just important to check your pH, even if you are going this, the living soil route, and you chose that method because you heard from one of your buddies like, I don't need to pH my water at all. I just dump it right in the reservoir and let those microbes buffer and do all that magic. Like, All right, fair point. Like I don't always pH my water every time I feed my plants. However, I checked my water source first, and I do that kind of periodically just to make sure that like they haven't really fucked with it through the seasons, which they can do sometimes.
Mine
Heads up.
changes between summer and winter.
Yeah, most people's will.
Hmm.
So, Howling, I hear you, man. I ain't scared of no pH, he says.
It's a tool,
Yeah. Listen,
really.
you don't have to be scared of it, and your microbes will handle it. Blah blah blah. But if you want your if you want your plant to wait, 2 or 3 days for your fucking microbes to figure shit out before it gets what it needs, that's cool. But you want to at least like look, if you're even in soil, you want to be under 7, and I can guarantee fucking to you, most people's tap water is way above 7. Johnny made a good point though. If you're in soil, where's all that acid going from the pH down? I don't know. I mean, eventually, I imagine it'll just wash out. You're not really using a whole lot. Um, I'm not
Your
sure on that one.
soil.
I can't really answer
Where's
that
all
question
the acid
definitively.
going that you're adding to adjust your pH? What do you mean, like your dolomite lime?
Oh well, whatever. Like your pH down. You know. I think that's what he's
Gotcha.
referring to.
I think
Gotcha.
it would.
I mean, I don't know, Johnny. I think it just kind of like at some point becomes inert.
Yeah, I imagine it has some sort of
Yeah,
half life or
Not a
especially
whatever.
like
scientist.
depending on what you use over time. At least in mine, I do use pH down in like my res, and over time it'll shift back up. So I imagine that the
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it is that's keeping it just becomes inert over time.
for sure. So again, let's stick with water.
Water.
We hear as new growers like chlorine, chloramine, this type of stuff. Is that something we got to worry about?
That's a
I don't
loaded
think
question.
usually if you're on city water, I don't think so. But you can test
Chloramine,
your water and
yes.
find out.
Chloramine, I think, is more of a problem. It's not really
They
used as
don't use
frequently.
it that commonly though. Like
No,
it's
it's not.
super rare in
It's
the United
infrequent.
States.
Um, Chlorine you can evaporate within 24 hours, and you don't even have to really bubble it. People say you can bubble it, but and the other thing is that you buy a cheap fucking carbon filter for your garden hose or whatever, and you can connect your garden hose to your sink with a $5 adapter.
Yeah, could do that.
Yep, and there you go. You're gonna filter out most of the chlorine that way. And look, I know people that don't. I've even set up shit for people that don't. I don't think it makes that big of a difference. People seem to make a really big deal about it. As somebody who had fish with fish tanks, it's a huge problem. But with plants, I don't
Ah,
see it. I don't see it being that much. Chloramine's in Chicago water. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
oh shit. Well, for chloramine,
There ain't much you can
what do
do.
you
I
gotta
mean,
do?
Can you filter it?
Or you just
probably not without RO. There are, I think there's some stuff that neutralizes it.
filter it?
No,
Oh,
there.
sure. We just
See,
go buy water from like Walmart at that
there
point.
is
Shit.
stuff to neutralize it. Yeah, yeah, you could just do that. I hate fucking buying filtered water. Have you ever drank like filtered water from a bottle? It tastes
Yeah.
like, dude, I feel like I can taste the plastic in the bottle
Oh,
almost.
yeah.
It's just like that's all you're
You
tasting,
probably
you know?
can. There's more like parts per million of plastic than there is of
I think you're
sodium.
just particularly sensitive to that taste, Mazda. Because you said that
Yeah,
you can taste like silicone too when you're hitting
yeah, I do
unbreakable
have
bonds
sensitive
and
taste buds,
stuff. So I
and
wonder
I
if that to that you're very sensitive.
maybe I drink a lot of water, and I'm kind of like a water snob. Um, I am. I like good quality water, and if you're gonna buy bottled water, in my opinion, there's really only one to buy. It's fucking Poland Spring. To
Oh
me,
yeah,
it
the
just tastes the
OG,
best. Not just because it's from New England,
OG.
but just because I think it's the best. I've tried a lot of other waters. I like Fiji too, but I ain't paying you $4 for a fucking bottle of water. You know, it's just
But they're
not happening.
square.
Yeah. You're a square if you fucking pay the $4 for a fucking bottle of water. How's that? I treat myself every now and then at a convenience store. Yeah, you're on the road, whatever you see, like, yeah, I'll grab a fucking bottle.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, no, to drink that shit. I try to fill my own water, like water bottles on the road. The problem is it's kind of impractical because I literally drink. I'll drink over a gallon a day, especially on a hot day if I'm working outside. You know, you can't really carry
Sometimes you
around a gallon of fucking water.
gotta stop and get a big water from the Wawa.
Yeah, Wawa. Get your water, Wawa at Wawa.
Some water at the Wawa.
Yeah, high quality H2O.
It is indeed, man. Now, how about fluoride, man? We gotta worry about that with our plants, like we do our
You know, I
pineal
can't answer
glands.
that question. I don't know. I would assume no because, you know, much like chlorine or chloramine, I haven't seen people having too many issues
We
with
don't.
it.
I mean, you know, and I think it's actually increasingly rare in the United States these days. But man, not a good like history with industrial waste product that is fluoride being put into drinking water. It's good for your teeth, though. It's good
That
for your
shit makes me
teeth.
sick, literally. Like the fluoride treatment at the dentist, it makes me sick. I can't.
Really?
Yeah, like it makes me not super nauseous, and I
Oh
guess it's
yeah, dude.
common.
With the tray. Oh, that was
Yeah,
terrible.
Ugh.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
I could puke right now thinking about that shit.
Oh, that's
Please
what made
don't.
everyone's third eye close up and crust over.
Ugh.
Reject fluoride treatments. Official CC stance.
Yeah, gotcha. Government.
Yeah, brush your teeth without, you can get the anti-fluoride stuff too if you're worried about that, honestly. I did that for a long time. No cavities,
Long time.
you know, for real. Good teeth, just use something to brush. Make your own toothpaste if you need. A little baking soda, a little ammonia.
Ammonia.
I'm
Excuse
just
you?
playing. No.
I was gonna say, what the
Don't,
fuck? You
don't,
brush your teeth
don't
with
do
ammonia?
that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now, all right, we're going to stick with the water thing for a minute. Because, all right, I'm a new grower. Like, one thing I've heard, above all else, I've heard so many times, don't overwater your plants. If you overwater your plants, no bueno, right? Like, it's a cardinal sin of being a new grower.
Simultaneously, don't underwater your plants.
I've seen the other way,
100%.
but it's usually overwater first.
Yeah, of
People
course.
wanted they overlove they helicopter the thing. They overlove it. They water it every fucking day when a lot of times, especially in the early stages, it just doesn't need that.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that. Water them every day. Okay? Like, especially in soil, especially early in life, plants don't need much additional water than like what's already in the soil. Like, if let's assume like you saturated it and then kind of let it dry back a little bit before you plant the seed, let it like acclimatize to the tent. It's like at 80% saturation. Perfect. You pop the seed in there. You got like a week's worth of moisture before you have to do fuck all.
Yeah, because it's
Okay?
not drinking next to anything.
Yeah, how much water you should give your plant is a function of how big the pot is and how big or small the plant is, right?
And your environment. I almost like cringe when people ask me how often do I water because it's like I
Yeah,
can't tell
right.
you that, man. It's a fucking loaded question. All I can tell you is when you saturate that pot, pick the fucking thing up, get a feel for how heavy it
Bingo.
is, and when it's dry, pick it up, get a feel for it. Now, obviously, this is going to change with as the plant gets bigger, right? But you can still, I mean, I you can stick your fingers in the soil. Like there's multiple different ways to,
Yes.
but don't overwater and don't underwater it. I kind of like I don't know if you can sense the tone of my voice. I kind of get aggravated with it because I just feel like it's not that complicated.
It's not,
Uh,
but listen, it's it's not complicated, but it's nerve-wracking.
There is a little bit of misunderstanding about overwatering, I feel. In
I
that
agree.
overwatering in general, at least in my mind, does not refer to how much water you give at one time, but how often you give that amount of water. So you
Hell
can
yeah.
you can feed a lot of water through a plant if you want to. A lot of water through that pot. It'll just drain out the other side.
Like one event of just like too
Yeah.
much water. Let's say you overwatered in this one event and it just like, yeah, it all just poured out the bottom of the pot into the saucer it was in and then flooded into your tray. Like, oh, oops.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to clean up your mess. You
Right. Now you got to
idiot.
wait also. Like now your thing is completely saturated. You have to
Yes.
wait till it's not saturated again.
However,
However, overwatering occurs when you do not wait until it needs it again. It already
exactly.
has enough water and you're giving it more. So
Yeah.
that second action of giving it the second serving of water, that's the overwatering. Not necessarily giving it a
Exactly.
shit ton of water in the first place.
And it's a lot easier to do in the beginning, right? Because when a plant's
Yeah.
fully established, especially deep in flower, it's next to impossible to overwater. You'd really have to be fucking drowning those things. Um, Even in soil, they're in a like a 5 gallon pot. They're gonna fucking deep in flower. They're gonna drink close to a gallon a day,
Yeah.
easily.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
it's amazing how fast
The
that
rest.
turns, you know, like once they are growing and established, you might find, depending on your volume of soil or even like your medium too. Like let's say you're a cocoa grower and you're using like 2 gallon pots or something. Like, you know, sometimes I see people even using these 1 gallon pots. Dude, you are gonna be watering them by hand 5 times a day at that point, like in full flower. You know what I mean?
yeah.
If you want to see like the full cocoa effect and like high frequency fertigation, all that good stuff you hear about, you better be willing to be up there watering 5 times a day.
I think that's a good thing, though. I'm a firm believer in as many wet dry cycles as you can get, even with soil. That's why I would encourage soil growers to use fabric pots. Um, you want the more cycles, the better in a plant's life, especially with an autoflower. Fuck, the thing's only gonna be here for less than 90 days, and most of them anyway. And shit, you want to get the most you can. The more wet dry cycles you get, I think the better, even in soil.
I
The
like
more
that.
the merrier.
I like that. I mean, the more times you can water it, like as a soil grower, you know, I always thought too, like the more times I could water, the more inputs I could add. I didn't have like living soil, but I was trying to do the organics in like a smaller container. It's difficult. You got to like continuously add stuff. So the more you can water, the better, essentially, right?
Yeah, and Howland kind of hit the fucking nail on the head. I mean, look, that's why I like autopots because they'll drink way more than you'll ever give them. I've had 12 plant rooms, drink 20 gallons in a fucking
Yeah,
day. And that's no joke. Like, and I would never feed them that much, but they fucking drank it, right? And plant's the boss.
it's true.
So,
It's true, but
um,
Because they can just continue doing that wet dry cycle all
yeah.
day and all night and all day and all night, regardless of your
Yeah.
schedule.
And look, even if you don't want to spend the money on autopots, you can set up a pretty simple automatic watering system with a fucking tote, a pump, a timer, and a check valve. You'd probably do that for less than $100, and you can fucking automate your watering. Automation really is the key, in my opinion. Like even, you know, plants love consistency, right? And the more consistent you can be about giving them what they want, the better. Even if you're hand watering, fucking put that shit on a timer. Give them this, just be
oh yeah,
consistent about it.
I
They're not
dude,
stupid, man. They
there's
like
something to that.
consistency.
If you're, I mean, and I'm glad you said hand watering because that is the kind of the theme tonight. Like, you know, we love automation, we love it. I'm just gonna be real, man. New growers ain't gonna have that 90% of the time, not probably more. You know, they're just
Mm-hmm.
gonna be watering by hand. They need to know these techniques. It's crucial. especially even for house plants, man. This is stuff like that you can apply all across the board for growing like just stuff in general, man. Again, like G3 said it one more time for people in the back. Overwatering is not about giving them too much water at once. It is about coming back and giving them more water again
Well, I
before they
think
need it.
Not
and
too
if a
much,
plant's
too
really
often.
young, you can overwater it once and kill it. I've seen people do that, especially
Yeah.
when they're young. You, you, I like to try to water the around the plant, like the perimeter of it. Try to get those roots to reach out and find the water rather than just kind of like
Mhm.
completely saturate them. Um, I
If you
think that's
consider the as above, so below theory, your roots are going to be out just a little bit further than the tips of your leaves are. So if you circle like right beyond the tips of your leaves, then those roots will be almost there and then reaching out to that water even more.
a great tip.
For sure.
Yeah, G3 with another just a tip.
She's on fire tonight, man. For real. Unbelievable. All right, Stoney makes a great point. I guess he's talking about with sips and autopots, then each plant can take what it needs rather than just watering each pot the same.
That's the other
Which,
thing, though, which reminds me, if you're going to hand water, especially your plants in like the corners and things, they're not going to drink as much as the other ones. You got to be
yeah,
mindful of that.
each plant is an individual. You know
Yep.
what would
Mm-hmm.
be cool, man? If they had like a measurement on each individual autopot valve, like how much water has gone through that one in
That'd be pretty cool.
in each cycle,
That would be cool.
and then you could like reset it. Because I'm interested sometimes. I know like the one in my back right is always like the slow poke of the bunch. You know what I mean? It's
You
like
yell at
near
it
the
and tell it to get
fan.
his shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Still,
just not an ideal part of the attic to be in. It's the part that I can't access. It's the hardest for me to access. It's right next to the fan. There's all these reasons why that plant always sucks. But I bet you it drinks way less than the others, always. I'm just
yeah,
curious.
probably the ones that aren't directly under the light will. It's just kind of the way it goes.
Yeah,
And you know,
that's just, I'd be interested to know, just like each cycle, and timing wise too, like in certain weeks, like, oh, there could see like how many gallons went through the autopot valve this week. Like, holy fuck, this one's chugging away.
I know you could probably set something up. I'd have to do some thinking, like maybe
Crazy.
some sort of flow meter or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right.
Be
Just
expensive
a
though.
side thought. I'll talk to Luke. But again, hand watering, like,
What about water temperature? Does that matter?
Yeah, you definitely don't want it too hot or too cold, but too
Right.
hot is more of a problem, I think. Um,
what's ideal? I mean, room temperature.
Room
If
yeah,
it's
temperature, I
room
think.
temp's
like
fine. You
kept it
don't,
a little cooler than room temperature.
yeah, you don't want to get too warm, especially with like any type of automated watering. You're gonna end up with issues in your lines, um, bacteria growth and all that stuff loves water
Yeah.
above 70 degrees. So,
Hmm.
uh,
I think I
Nice.
heard somewhere that around 60 to 65 degrees is where they like to be the most.
well, that's the
Go figure.
ideal
Another 60.
saturation. That's the ideal saturation
Hmm.
for oxygen. Um, but yeah, like too cold, it can be a problem, but that's pretty hard to do, especially this time of the year. Your water's not coming out super cold, but in the wintertime, your water is coming out fucking cold as fuck.
Yeah.
And you definitely don't want to be watering them with that. You're gonna want to warm that shit up a little bit.
Or
Um,
you can shock them. Isn't that like an old school grower technique? Like, oh, I give my plants ice water
yeah,
on
I
like
don't
the
necessarily know how
last week.
effective that would be.
Oh, yeah, to convince them that the
It's
rain
winter
and stuff
time.
is significantly colder, so that means it's winter outside.
Time
So
to
therefore they turn
die.
colors. The
Yeah,
goal of that
I
is to
don't
make
know.
them senesce, right? Or finish
I don't know.
faster.
I always
I always
assumed
heard
it
it
was
was
just
to make them senesce.
torture, just to make
Abuse
them
your
feel
plants.
pain. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's to encourage them to like ripen. Yeah, that's the thought.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the thought anyway. I mean,
Um,
I don't know how
so
effective that
how
is.
about any oh, here, I'll get you off there, Stoney. Um, get you off the screen, I mean. Let's assume let's assume we are a new grower. What are some other hangups, some like myths, some when you were a new grower, what was like the hardest thing for you? That's my question.
Leaving it
Uh,
the fuck alone.
well,
That
somebody had mentioned at the beginning that they're a new grower and they were extremely worried about the dry and cure. Um, the growing thing for me was pretty easy. I started with
that's where I
DWC,
was actually gonna
but
go.
I came from a fish tank background, so I don't recommend you start with DWC. That's probably not your best way to start. But I fucked up the dry on my first grow really bad, and I was bullshit. And I made sure that that was never gonna happen because I was so happy with the flower. Like it smelled amazing. It was fucking sticky. And then it dried in like I don't know, probably 3 days. It was a while, a long time ago, and it was
Ooh.
fucking. It was hay, you know. I couldn't give the shit away,
Mm,
and nor did I even want to. I was embarrassed. So, yeah,
I hate when that happens.
I, 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 yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that the new growers fuck up with is the dry. They don't even consider it. You talk to people, even in our Discord, people that have popped in new grows, right? Yeah, well, have you thought about the dry yet? Oh shit. I feel like everybody, spends all their time, energy thinking about the grow. They got a badass setup, right? And then they haven't even thought about where they're gonna fucking dry the shit.
Ugh, because drying is boring.
It is boring, but you can
It
take a
is.
fucking 10 and turn it into a 1 within
I
like
know.
It's
a
true.
couple
That's
of
the
days.
catastrophe of it.
You got to have a plan. At least you have to have thought about how this is going to happen. Like you you do not just like chop a plant and turn it upside down in the same tent that you grew it in
Oh,
and
please
like
no.
flip a switch. I mean, listen, you can. I'm not saying don't do that, but like it doesn't magically turn the environment from perfect for a living plant to perfect for drying plant. Like there is a like kind of a challenge to that, especially for a home grower who just doesn't have like professional equipment in a perfectly spec'd room, of course. Like for me, you got to like take advantage of where it's cool in your house. Like I mean, I always dry in my basement, you know? It takes less energy to cool a tent down there. Get it down to those temperatures, right?
Basements are great as long as they're
Year
dry
round.
and
Hmm.
not musty. They're fucking awesome. It's a
For
great place to
sure.
dry your herb.
But yeah, that's a great point. I have a dehumidifier always running down there too. It's knock on wood, nice and dry. So hopefully it stays that way.
Because your
But
buds will absorb that odor, I promise you. I
Hmm.
have a friend. I'm not gonna call him out. He knows who he is. He grows really good flower, and then he dries it, and it always tastes like his basement.
he gets
Um,
basement terps. Oh
yeah,
fuck.
Oh
yep,
no.
yep. It's sorry. It's just the way it goes. If you have a musty basement, your bud will absorb that odor.
Yeah, same type of thing if you like dry in a cedar closet.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. I tried that with one plant on like my second grow, and she definitely had a distinctly piney, cedary taste
All right,
to
all right, all
her.
right. What if you like cook bacon near your drying herbs, or
I
like
think it
like
has to
a
be more long term
really
than that. If you do
really
it hours
strong
every
like
day, you
Indian
set up
food?
like a George Foreman in the bottom of your dry tent, then sure, you can probably get bacon terps.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
like infuse meat terps if
Oh
Yeah.
they're
God.
lacking.
This reminds me of a fucking argument I had with somebody on Reddit years ago. They posted a question on what they can do to increase the terpenes of their fucking weed by like with essential oils, and I was like, just stop.
Essential oils.
Yeah.
No.
Um, yeah. No, look, your herb's a sponge. Like, I've seen people fuck
Yeah.
up their shit with air fresheners, like too close to the drying product because they're worried about smell, right? So, and then like you can just taste
Mm.
that shit in the end product.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
like new car
Yeah, or
trips.
like
Oh
popular one
God.
is like ozone gel, Ozium, all that shit. Shout out to Ozium. That's a great product if you guys haven't ever used that. It's a really good product
Oh,
if you
we
want
got
to
the
cover up smell.
spray. It is great.
Yeah, they have the
Spray
spray and then they have
works
the gel cans. The
phenomenal.
gel cans work great. You can just place them around, the outside of your grow, and they will take that nose away.
Hmm.
Because the nose is gonna smell the first thing closest to it, and that Ozium just gives you that nice clean, like I don't know, I call it like hospital scent. Like it's just fucking clean.
I hear that. All right, here we got a question. Death Index. Howdy, howdy. He says, question: intake fans and their speeds. Not sure if I should have it blasting or low, and how the fan speed affects VPD and humidity.
I don't know,
All
man.
right,
That's
so
kind of
Good
it's a loaded
question.
question.
yeah, it
Really, it
is.
kind of just depends on your environment. In most cases, you don't need an intake fan. How about that? Um, you
Let's
certainly can
great
have
great
one.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's just assume he means exhaust fan. Like it's the fan that's going to bring air into the tent as well as exhaust it. Most people just use one, right?
Yeah, I use a passive intake because I'm pulling all of the air out of my tent. So
Yeah. If your walls are being sucked in on your tent, I promise you don't need an intake.
Mm.
Um, you know, like you get enough negative pressure that, and somebody mentioned that in the comments. Negative pressure is going to help you if you have a smell issue. 1,000%. You
Mm-hmm.
want a little bit of negative pressure, but
a little bit of negative pressure. That's the key. Little
yeah,
bit.
yeah, you don't want that
If
tent to look like you're sucking through a straw. I've seen that before.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, I always have my fan speed on. Like depends, honestly. I usually have it on 5, but I've since ramped it up to 7. Being summertime, I'm finding that it's struggling at times to bring that, like, to act as both the exhaust and the intake. You know what I mean? And to maintain a low humidity in that tent and bring in like that dehumidified air, it's having issues. So I had to ramp it up. I'm at
Mhm.
7 right now.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
So
don't
the
think you
higher,
should.
good.
Go ahead, G3.
I was just gonna say the higher your fan speed is, the more your tent environment is going to be like your lung room. So
Yeah.
whatever environment your tent exists in, because you're constantly exchanging that air with the
Mm-hmm.
outside, they're going to be pretty much the same inside and outside the tent. If your fan is lower, or if it's on auto where it's only going to kick on when you hit a threshold, a humidity or temperature, your inside environment is going to look really different than your lung room. If you have plants in there, especially
Mm-hmm.
flowering plants, your humidity is going to be a lot higher.
Got a
Your
light.
temperature is going to be a lot higher because your light is just sitting there heating everything up. And if that air is just sitting there, absorbing all of that moisture, absorbing all of that heat, it's going to look very different than what's in your lung room. So really, you change your fan speed to match what your plants need.
Yeah,
It's a
Great
balancing
point.
act.
definitely. But don't look for a numerical value from anybody. That's going to be based on your environment, your grow, and if you're trying to dial in temp and humidity based on fan speeds, you're doing it wrong because you may be able to dial it in for like a couple hours. It's going to change with ambient temperature. Um, you know, you want to have a minimum speed, right? Or a maximum speed, either or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to have that regulated by some sort of probe. And even a new grower, I would fucking strongly discourage you from even starting if you're not automating your exhaust temperature. And I'm not telling you to go out and get AC Infinity. There's like a 70 million different ways to do it without AC Infinity. Um,
Yo,
but
Vivo
you,
son.
even
Bring
fucking Vivo. Yeah, we should probably
bring
talk about
listen.
that because
I checked
we're
out their full catalog because I thought I had like a $368 credit on their app the other day.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I'm a
That's
little bit out of the loop on this one. I saw some rumblings about it, and I don't exactly know. Like there was a coupon. Did anybody actually
I
get goods that they got with this, or
I
I don't think
heard that some
anyone
people's were shipped out. I
for
do. This is
real.
all.
Yeah.
This is all gossip hearsay. But I heard that the first few orders actually did ship. It was open from like. So for anybody who missed
Interesting.
this, on the Vivo Sun app, for a period of about 7 hours, there was a coupon code where if you clicked it, it gave you 360
Yeah,
some dollars,
368, I think.
$368 off your
just a
cart,
random number?
Yeah.
regardless of what was in it.
And like
So,
some
like,
cents too, I think. It was like the most random number ever. It was you were just
I
like,
don't know how it happened, but like, you could throw a full, huge ass light in your cart, put in your address, no credit card or bank information needed, and
yeah.
hit
And
buy, and
it
they'd
would
like,
say
okay, it's coming to
confirmed,
you.
you know. It would say that, but like it was just I mean, come on. Like come on.
Yeah, I
Did
Yeah,
seriously
anyone
so
doubt
really
anybody
think
got any of those goods. And if they did, prove me wrong. Send me some fucking actual screenshots that aren't
listen, I
photoshopped.
will say though, had they just bitten the bullet and like I don't know how much in USD. What's the USD value of all the goods that were purchased in that like less than 24-hour period before like someone posted it on
it
Reddit
had
before
thousands and
they
thousands and
shut it
thousands
down?
and
Yeah, who
thousands.
cares? Like, you know how
Right,
much
they
money
make
that
like
company made last year?
millions.
A lot, a lot. You know how much goodwill and like lifelong brand loyalty that would buy in the community if they just said like, fuck it, ship it all out.
They
It would have been
did
awesome.
in order to
Just saying.
in order to fix things. They did offer a coupon code for I think it's $150
Yeah, they
off
did. No,
any cart over
for sure.
368 or
I
whatever.
Fair.
ripped the shit out of Vivo before. I think a lot of their
Listen,
products are just absolute garbage. However, they sent me their 100-watt light a couple years ago. I was super impressed with the build quality on that thing. I never ended up using it. Brack won it on one of our shows. I sent it out to him. Um, so I imagine they make a decent light. Um, I mean, I was kind of impressed with that little 100-watt light. The build
for
quality on it was
sure.
actually
Listen,
really cool. Like it looked nice and everything. So
I I went through their whole catalog last night, and like while I thought that coupon was live, I was like, what am I gonna do with my one time like $368 handout? I wonder. And I went through
Felt
all
like
their
a
equipment.
stimulus check.
I know it was right. I'm getting my Vivo bucks.
Yeah.
It was
Grower
great.
stimulus check.
Wouldn't that be nice, man? Everyone needs a grower
Too good to be
stimulus
true.
check. Vote for me. I will. I promise. Grower stimulus checks.
yeah,
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome? So in my perusing of their new equipment, I was honestly really impressed. I'm not gonna lie. Like they've done full redesigns of everything. It's got all new look. Like it's kind of sharp looking. It's they're going for that AC Infinity vibe. Like
yeah.
you know
I
It
bet you they're
might
even made in the
look
same
like it.
factory.
How about quality wise,
I
though?
wonder.
Anybody know how
I am
decent
curious.
VivoSyn is these days? Because I heard a lot of stories about like collapsing tents and
I'm curious,
things
but
Yeah, I
catching
listen,
think
on
their tents are garbage. I
fire.
mean, unless
they
they've
have a
updated those.
lot of stuff on that website,
Oh,
and like I'm just
Hmm.
saying, like I think
They had like bongs and stuff on there.
really?
Like
they
everything.
have a
Yeah.
lot
Like
of stuff, man.
chainsaws and hedge
Yeah,
clippers
chainsaws,
and
like collapse,
like serious outdoor stuff.
chainsaws, yeah,
Like
collapsible
collapsible
garden
wagons.
wagons. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh
Hmm.
man, I should have ordered one
I
of
was
those.
ready
They
to
throw their name
grab
on
that
anything,
with
huh?
my
They
Vivo
are really trying to
bucks.
be like AC Infinity.
Listen, yeah,
Fucking
for
throw their name
sure.
on anything.
And I like listen. I'm glad. Like I've said, I'm glad that there is like a competitor, so to speak. Like, yeah, it's kind of like the maybe lesser quality, but same kind of thing. Like one stop shop for all your growing needs. But like, I don't know, man. we need a cheaper alternative to like the bougie Apple store of grow products. Just being real with you. Like sometimes you don't have $200 to buy a fucking 4-inch exhaust fan. You just don't. But you need one. Real talk, right?
100%. I think Spider
So
Farmer makes one too, don't they?
yeah,
Don't they
dude,
make
there
a
you
AC
go.
Infinity clone light? I mean, a clone
Spider
fan.
Farmer.
It's probably
I
just as
think
good. Like, look, I,
I
I
think
keep it real with you. I think
Mars
AC
is pretty
Infinity
good
makes
now
some
too.
some good products, but I don't think everything they make is fucking the greatest thing on since sliced bread, and a lot of it isn't even unique, you know. However, they were the first with a lot of shit. Like, dude, as far as like a
Walking.
fully
Yep.
automated fan with all those controls, that's pretty fucking cool. And
The
look, it
first to
wasn't.
market's always great, but like that
Yeah.
doesn't mean like the competitors can't be as good, if not better, when they come
Mm-hmm.
out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the new exhaust fans from like we just mentioned, Vivo, Spider Farmer, Mars, they all look remarkably similar, man. They even have their own like smart system and all that kind of stuff where you can like plug other appliances into them, and it's just kind of sharp looking. Just saying, cheaper alternative might be made in the same factory. We
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
how a lot of this Chinese stuff is. I mean, look, don't kid yourself. A lot of it's made in China, and a lot of it's made in the same factories, and it's the same thing with every fucking industry you can think of. Like I mentioned last week, guitars. Go do some research on where your brand name guitar is fucking built. You'd be shocked. There's you know really only a dozen or so like real companies out there, factories making guitars. Um, and they'll make your guitar at night and the day,
Mm-hmm.
and then make a different one at night.
Yeah.
With the same fucking shape and everything, and
It's
sell
the
it under a
same
different
with
label.
dishwashers, microwaves,
Yep.
laundry
Everything.
machines, dryers, toasters, refrigerators, literally everything. You're right. You're
Welcome to capitalism.
right. With late stage capitalism, G3, there's a difference.
End
You,
stage
you used to have
capitalism.
a choice, right? Now it's just you're deceived into thinking you have a choice, but no, it's just you're buying it all from the same company, no matter what.
Yep.
Oh, that's a different show, you guys. Different show. Oh my God, we're an hour and 10 minutes
I
into the
know
show.
it flew, and all we talked about was
I,
water.
that is just mind-boggling to me. Oh my God. All right. Real quick, we're doing a little raid here. Going.
Hold up. We're coming in.
All right, we're in. I think. Oh, we're in. K-pop's garden. What's up, K-pop? We're
Hey,
here.
Pizzy.
We're
We're
live.
here.
We got.
Let's see some beautiful plants.
Look at this
Ooh,
crazy setup. I know this is why I wanted to show this. I
It's fucking cool.
love this like inventiveness here. You know, love what I'm seeing. He says, just to be clear, he's got a joint PB and Cray. Keep that strain in mind, you guys. He's got a blueberry Chardonnay and Star Fuel. I assume
now
those are all from
star
joint.
fuels from joint.
Blueberry Chardonnay has to be too. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
He says a cherry pie and a slurry burry. Look at this like crazy scrog he's got going on. What is that?
They're cute little trees. Look at them.
That's just
Beautiful.
some looks like some steel framing. I can't tell.
Yeah, dude. I wonder where he picked
I
that
wonder if he
up. He
made
just
that. Yeah.
decided to put it to use, or yeah, if he made it, I wonder. Just hanging it from the ceiling, using some of those like what looks like those
Yeah,
straps you
ratchet
get with
hangers.
a light, right?
Ratchet hangers are fucking awesome, man.
I know, dude. Yeah, no, Monster. I would love like we need a segment of like a new use for a ratchet hanger every show.
Oh, dude, I hang everything with ratchet hangers. I just love them.
All
Fucking,
right, well,
they're
next
great.
show, I want
Yeah,
something around the house you're doing with your fucking
yeah.
spare ratchet hangers, because I got a drawer full of a dozen at this point. Wouldn't that be fun? Get a like audio clip for that too. I like it. All right. K-pop, we're back. I think that's kind of like a DIY Earth box. Not really sure though. Perhaps we will find more clues as we go. This looks
Oh, that's so
very
many different shapes.
DIY. Yeah, I'm not. I'm even like looking at these lights now. Like, I wonder what's going on here. Let's go to a new picture set. Oh,
Ooh,
Little tent.
he says this is chopping today. Blueberry terps, his first, and he is amazed. Yeah, aren't
look at
they
that. It's just
something,
like
man?
spears,
Yeah, he's got a lot
That's a
going on.
plant
like
taking up a whole tent,
swords
pretty
of
much, right?
flower. So pretty.
Look at these trees. I know.
Beautiful.
They got clean legs on them too. That's one thing, man, that I am impressed with is your lollipopping. You went up not, you know, just far enough. Maybe about halfway up the plant. It's one thing I always struggle with. Is like I don't lollipop enough.
It hurts me to do it, but I
Right?
do like what it looks like afterwards.
Yeah, a lot of that lower shit's just gonna be larf. You might as well get rid of it.
Did a really good job with that. He looks like he's growing in soil. Like again, I kind of look. I mentioned like a DIY bucket. He drilled some holes in a bucket, 5 gallon, using that instead of his usual fabric pots. From the looks of it, he's got him in what looks like homemade trays, right?
Yeah, it looks like a lot of DIY going on here, which I love.
Yeah, it's very inventive, man. Like in this, this doesn't look like stuff that's kind of marketed as grow equipment. You can do all this with just like, having a little tray, 5 gallon bucket with some holes in it. You water from the top, like we were talking about.
He may not even water from the top. He may water into the trays.
Well, you can get to that
Well,
point,
maybe not.
G3. You can get to that point where you just realize that it's all the same and like, you know, it's easier for you to just dump the water into the tray that they're sitting in, right? It takes a little time. At first you're like, no, I gotta water the soil in a nice circle around the plant. Yeah, you should do that to start.
Yep,
First
you
three
should.
weeks too, there's a technique to it. But again, this is not that tough. And again, he's getting great results from this. So I applaud what he is doing here.
And that is seriously serious business scaffolding.
Yeah, right? Sturdy ceiling. He's got his
Damn, I do wonder how much that weighs.
right?
K-pop, how much does
I
that
know. It
weigh?
can't weigh
You
that
can hang
much.
thousands of pounds from wrist ceiling if you do it right. Just gonna hit studs.
It's super cool though. It's a way to put something he had probably to a new use. And yeah, look. This is a DIY earth box, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
With like a
Yeah.
piece of PVC pipe.
Yep.
I wish we could get some input from you, K-pop, but pictures say 1,000 words, dude. I think you're doing some awesome stuff.
Yeah, it looks good, brother.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful plants.
Chime in
Wow.
in the Discord. Yeah. I just thought that was super cool. And again, like you don't need professional type stuff, man. You can do this just repurposed like lawn equipment. I don't know what that is, but it's awesome. It is awesome. So, thanks, K-pop.
So good.
Thanks for being a Patreon, bud. We
appreciate
appreciate all you guys.
Certainly do.
If you
I like
wish to
his setup
become
a lot.
one, check us out on Patreon. Yeah, right? I just like looking at stuff that's not like what I see all the time. You know what I mean? Everyone's got the same type of stuff. Everyone's got that AC Infinity. They get the Bundaroo. It's a good deal. Just like everyone else. Just like
Guilty
all
as
the
charged.
all
I don't get the
other
butter, but I
shit.
have a shit ton of AC
Listen, no,
Infinity.
I'm just playing, of course. Like it's I can't even tell, man. I got a tent too. I don't. It's like when you're taking a picture of the inside of a tent, they're all the same.
They're all the same.
Who
That's
cares?
okay. I'm okay with being a basic bitch in certain parts of my growing because I'm really out there in
100%.
other parts. It's all about balance. Find your own style.
100%. 100%. But yeah, let's wrap it up, you guys. You wanna just say goodbye for this week? Tell
Yeah.
tell the people we'll see them next week.
Yeah,
I
thanks
won't be
everybody
here
for
next
tuning in
week.
live.
We appreciate all the live watchers.
Hold on, I think we just glazed over that. G3, you won't be here next week.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, what?
I won't be here next week.
Oh, whoa, fuck. Disaster.
Yeah.
All right, well, should we do... All right, we'll
We
talk
were
about it
gonna
off the show.
do a
We'll talk about it out there.
Monday
Wednesday?
show, maybe.
All right,
I
Just-
think.
cool. We can
Stay
do that.
tuned.
Audience,
No,
be
just-
on your feet next week.
Yeah.
The live audience, I mean. The day might change, the time probably won't.
Correct.
The day will change.
The day will change. Probably
time
Monday.
Won't. But yeah, thank you guys. Both of you, Monster G3.
A pleasure as always, sir, and thank you.
Yes, new growers, if you have any more questions for us, come on into the Discord. We're always happy to help. No question is too noobish for us, honestly.
We know some cool growers.
Right? And we can help you. We promise. But you must promise me one thing, and that is that you don't get caught.